Polaris and Magnus Discourse during the 2022 7 Sacred Weeks on December 12. Before we begin, let us contemplate the luminous presence of beloved Polaris and Magnus. They are twin flames and great cosmic beings who control the axis of the planet and also the harp strings of the soul that we will explain more at the end of this video. Now, feel the light and blessings of Polaris and Magnus flooding and surrounding you, charging you with their perfect balance, and let's dive into their words. Beloved Polaris told us, children of lighting, it is with great joy we descend among you today, bringing you our blessings and love. I hope you have already recovered from the surprise my beloved brother Arcturus gave you when he suddenly took my place. The natural flow of life is always perfect, even when we do not understand why things happen in a different order or way that we imagine. Rest assured, we had a lot of fun with this incident, and I can tell you that we had nothing direct to do with it. It was just the will of the mighty I Am Presence. But when we saw that this beloved channel, in a meditative state, had received the image of Arcturus on her mental screen instead of mine, we took advantage of the situation to see how you maintained your harmony. We are happy with the results. More than 70% of the students accepted the incident without letting themselves be carried away by destructive thoughts and feelings. And that was a cause for celebration among us at the Royal Teton Retreat. To those who held during the day in perfect harmony, confident that the I Am Presence was ruling, our heartfelt congratulations. You passed the test. Each of you will receive a special blessing from myself and Arcturus. And the moment this happened to you, you will immediately remember my words. I would like you to know that your intentions only become valid when you are tested and you pass the test. The tests are your initiations. Many students read the words of the masters, use them to criticize others, to point out their faults, but when they are tested, they give in to old negative habits and do not put into practice what they preach. Know that you can only convince others when you talk about what you practice. when you do what you preach. Otherwise, there is only an illusion of learning, and consequently, all your words lack energy and are empty of content, and empty words do not promote change in anyone. As you exercise the instructions, you absorb their wisdom and truth into your cells, atoms, and DNA, until one day you become that very knowledge in action. And when you become what you talk about, you do not even need to use words to teach, for your own radiance expands the perfection of your I Am presence over everything you touch and contact. Look at the great spiritual masters of humanity. When they approach someone, their auras speak louder than their mouths. A student simply enters a state of resonance and correspondence just by living in his master's aura. As they behold the master, they become like him. Therefore, my beloved ones, know that the words exchanged between us are secondary, because what is important is the radiation that expands from our aura to yours. My beloved ones, words serve to hold your attention on us. They serve to reactivate certain memories and capabilities that already exist within you. But what really matters is our exchange that takes place in the most subtle channels. Generally, when you read our words, if there is a real opening in your hearts to accept them, exercise them, and gain mastery over what you have heard, a ray of light flows from our hearts into yours, and our light substance penetrates you more and more strongly and deeply. First, it enters into your heart, then into your brain, and finally, if attention is maintained and the desire to master that instruction is sincere, that is substance of light, charged with our virtues and truth, penetrate your cells, entering deeper and deeper, illuminating your atoms, and after that, the instruction is registered in your DNA. When it happens, a natural process of transformation begins, and what you contemplate becomes living as a visible and tangible thing in your own life streams and worlds. It is exactly for this reason that we always ask you to meditate on the messages you receive, to contemplate our luminous presence, to remain in our arms of light. We do not wish to imprison you in any way, but only through your focused attention on us over a long period of time can we overcome the dark clouds of resistance in your auras and cells, releasing the points of light within them again. Inside each cell, there is a point of light. It usually does not shine because, like the sun on a cloudy day, it is obscured by the shadows of your negative accumulation that surround it. These points of light form a matrix connecting all cells with your chakras and aligning your entire atomic structure to the frequency of the threefold flame in your heart, which is the abode of the Christ in your physical body. When the points of light are well released, this matrix is fully activated, and then the Christ within your hearts emerges in its fullness, expanding its golden rays into your cells. And when these rays intersect with the points of light, they expand hundreds of times more. And then, at this point, the released intense light consumes all remaining shadows and visibly illuminates your body. This is the basis of what you know as resurrection. My beloved Magnus and I accompany and manage this raising process in each life stream that is ready for the victory of ascension. This planet's axis is to Earth, just as your spine is to you. And we are the beings that support and regulate the energies that flow through these channels, whether on Earth or in your bodies. We have a lot to teach you, and the information we hold could give you a big boost on your return home. Saint Germain brought the basics of this information back in the 30s when he brought to students' attention the knowledge of the harp strings of the soul. At that time, the law of life did not allow us to go further with this subject unless there was an interest from the students and they meditated on the subject. Sadly, this information was forgotten, and we can count on our fingers the students who at least superficially reflected on it. In this way, the law signaled to us that the students were not prepared. The law of life and beings even greater than us only allow information to be given when there is an effort from the students putting it into practice. And their effort creates the necessary momentum of light that allow us to use it to bring then other pieces of the same subject. And so they acquire the piece of a great jigsaw puzzle until they realize the full image of the figure that it reflects. Know that only because over 70% of the students following our messages passed the yesterday test, that I was allowed to explore the subject again. And if you reflect on the words, the harp strings of the soul, placing your attention on your spine, imagining an energetic stream flowing from the base of your spine to your pineal gland in the brain, perhaps we will get the necessary momentum of light so that next year we can come back to this subject and I can introduce you a little more into the mystery of the resurrection. Indeed, a mystery to the human mind, because for us it is something very simple, a mechanical process that obeys precise laws. I hope you remember my words, and may you always pass the test. I thank you, Polaris. Dear hearts, this was the wonderful instruction from beloved Polaris and Magnus, and I hope you enjoyed it. The next discourse I will record will be the one of beloved God Meru, and I hope to see you there too. Now, to finish this video, let us again contemplate the luminous presence of beloved Polaris and Magnus. Then, focus your attention on your spine and try to visualize the harp strings of your soul. They are two and run along your spinal column as if they were nerves within it, one of each side. On your left is the blue, governed by mighty Polaris, carrying the quality of divine balance. On your right is the pink, governed by Lady Magnus, carrying the quality of divine love. They begin in the base of your spine and go into the pineal gland in the center of your brain. Remember, the spine is the central pole of the body around which the electrons spin. It is like the axis of the physical earth held in place by Polaris and Magnus. When you invoke their presence to activate these strings, a great current of light descends from their hearts, creating this condition in your physical body. When these strings are activated and adjusted, Polaris and Magnus play upon them, releasing the magic sound of your being to bless you and your world. As this happens, the threefold flame in your heart, the voice of the presence in your throat, and the crown of the Elohim in your forehead expand, uniting into a great activity of light, raising you into the perfection of your higher mental body. Therefore, feeling your harp strings of the soul and the luminous presence of beloved Polaris and Magnus enfolding you, repeat with me. Blessed Polaris and Magnus, I now enfold you in my full love and gratitude. Descend in your visible and tangible bodies and activate the heartstrings of my soul. Align them in the perfection that I am. Play upon them and release my keynote to bless my being and world. I am immensely grateful. Dear friends, feel this alignment taking place right now. Accept it, and it's done. I leave you now with this blessing of Polaris and Magnus. Thank you so much for your support. Have a blessed week. I am Morgan Le Fay.